It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, have the ladies with me. White get in the building.
Let me be a downer first.
What happened?
I'm very sad. I'm very depressed.
You don't look
That's heavy.
You don't look depressed.
That's heavy.
Depressing you right
What
now.
happened?
Okay, I'm telling you I'm depressed. You are laughing. I don't
I
understand.
see there's no,
You're
it's
not
not
convincing.
because he's only powder
tell
that is
you,
on your
you
face.
Okay, tell us.
You see that our beautiful road that Governor Abiodun is doing?
Rainfall.
It's not be saying rainfall. They don't stop work.
Wow.
Can't see potholes. That man go don't drop money for these people. They don't stop. So the potholes are starting. And you know, they had done the first,
Grading.
straighten the road. Then they put one black thing, the black gravel, everything. Now,
The whole place will be messed up.
now, I just say this morning, I say, God,
And
oh.
we're so excited. with
Just,
this.
nobody excited past me. I don't even say, we have now become Alagbole of Ikoyi. Look at
Okay. I can understand how you feel.
Send a report somehow.
you know what is annoying is that they would have spent money to do this thing. Why? Just finish the job.
Nigerians, that's the problem.
Eh?
Can only do so much.
I hope he
Elijah.
comes to inspect it because if he's not watching,
Welcome.
please, if you are watching and you are his friend, help me tell
Lagbole,
you.
please.
I swear I can understand how IK feels.
Ah!
It was somebody that did this thing to me. They came that day like this. Governor Body is on the radio road. Everybody, I was so happy. And then they started scraping off the roads and left us like that.
Hey.
Till he finished his first term.
Ah.
Every day that I come outside, I don't used to pray for him.
So now it's not been done.
No. Governor Sanwo-Olu, if you come, our road is concrete road. Though.
Wow.
Hey,
That's nice.
I just do like this.
Headache,
And I'm out.
How you doing?
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
why you
fine.
get planning?
Is it not that road that we came that was...
That time that you came was Governor Ambode that scraped it, removed the small butterman left, and left us there.
That long time that we came.
Yes,
That time
but
that
when you came last year, that concrete you were driving off is fully complete now by Sanwo-Olu.
Oh, that's nice.
That's amazing.
How you doing? That comes to name ABC.
Eh, no,
Yeah, Julu, how you doing?
I'm not doing fine.
Well,
Are you two, you are not doing...
but she looks gorgeous. I was saying, I've been admiring her. See how beautiful
See,
she
as
is.
in,
I got some bad news. So
it's not bad news. You got revelation.
Yeah. Anyhow you want to call it.
Which revelation?
I'll be fine.
Just me. And you know about it. I
I
don't
don't know. No. Because YK will say it's Nima that told her. You see my hand up, everybody in
Tell me
international.
now.
This is-
It's life issues, yeah.
Tell me.
It's
Tell
fine.
me.
But you look
Will you tell me during the
amazing.
day?
Thank you.
You
Thank you.
don't look like whatever issues.
I'm drinking water, I'm minding my business.
Will you tell me during the break?
No, I'm not going to tell you why. Anything
Anyways.
anybody tells you does not end with you. I'm not telling you. Leave me alone. Leave me
Story
alone.
of my
whole
life.
65
YK will use it to
woman.
yab me on live
The whole
TV.
65-year-old woman has been shaded on
The
night.
two of them did it to me on Thursday last week.
No.
I
You
told
see,
YK
I'm not
something.
even talking to you
YK
today.
tells me.
Even though I wanted to be very happy because, Obiajulu, Amaka, and
Yes.
Tokpe
That's
came
what you
on
should have said now.
Saturday, and it was so lovely.
Yes,
and
we
the
spent
back-
time with you.
Thank you
Well,
so
tell us how
much.
I
And that's
No,
what we love.
they are
you.
not interested in how I've been gone for 2 weeks. So it's okay. Let me go on the
You have
show.
not been gone for 2 weeks.
When
No,
we
until we
come
have
back,
1 minute. We have 1 minute.
we will
came back
continue
with-
with the show because you
Well,
guys have so
how
much to
did
say.
you-
Nothing. I have nothing
No,
to say.
I know. Please say it. Say it.
Say
Say
it,
it.
say
Say
it.
it. Please now.
We will be right
Please
back.
now. Say it.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Tinubu orders police to end Rivers post-election violence. Lagos House of Assembly suspends Ali Moshood chairman indefinitely. Only collective efforts can stop corruption, President affirms. Kogi workers to get 72,000 naira 500 from this month. Growth in food production will break down inflation and stabilize exchange rate, says Wale Edun. Police probe stabbing to death of man by sex worker in Lagos. Council workers seek salary payment from first line charge. And will the Supreme Court rules 2024 enhance justice delivery? Okay, which story are we going to start with?
Major headline. God will help us in River State.
Amen.
Them, in River State. So the president has given the IGP marching orders to restore peace, law and order in River State. And if you were online yesterday, you will see that Ikwere local government, Isiokpo, Emua, and Eleme were on fire yesterday. For whatever reasons, they were all, at least Ikwere was burning. That was the one I saw. The news says 4 of them had their secretariats touched, and there was heavy gunshots around. And the governor went visiting. He kept saying he wasn't the one behind. The elections that happened had the AAA, the APP winning 22 local governments, and the Action Alliance winning one of the local governments. PDP did not partake in the local government elections. The APC did not participate in the elections, and there were protests from the party members across Rivers State, insisting they had gotten a court order to stall things pending a certain period. But the governor went ahead with the Rivers State Election Committee, the RSEC, and they conducted the election. So people are saying post-election is why all of this is happening. But the president has given the IGP orders to immediately restore peace, which is, of course, to secure the state. I'm just feeling for the people of Rivers State. God will help all of us.
Yeah, but also, the police had withdrawn their men the day before. The day before the fire.
No. Since July, the police had sealed.
They sealed it.
Yes.
They sealed it.
Yes.
But remember, they said they shouldn't provide security for that election.
Elections, yeah.
The governor had said before that he had gotten wind when he was showing them that there's going to be trouble. Wow. Police left, and as soon as the police left, those ones attacked.
No, the police opened those. They had sealed it in July, and they went to open it ahead of them resuming, because he had sworn them in, the chairman in on Sunday. They went and opened it ahead of them resuming, according to Nation.
Okay, let's just.
So they had gone ahead to open the secretariats, and then this happened.
Yeah. Let's move on to other stories.
Yeah, so I have a story here. The Nigerian Air Force yesterday presented checks to 13 next of kin of dead soldiers. So the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, said the ceremony marked the activation of the Group Personal Accident Insurance Policy, GPAIP. And he said while earlier policies primarily focused on life insurance, we recognized the gap, and there was no specific coverage for those who had become disabled or injured in the course of duty. So he said today we take a historic step to bridge that gap with the activation of the Group Personal Accident Insurance Policy. He says this policy will provide compensation for bodily injuries, temporary or permanent disabilities, and even death. There is also going to be covering medical expenses incurred as a result of accidents, and it will be offering salary reimbursements if the personnel are hospitalized. So he said, importantly, the Group Personnel Accident Insurance runs concurrently with the already existing insurance policies, but it's just going to be covering up with the gaps that the insurance policy doesn't cover. And the check is one of the first steps to the set of beneficiaries to address the welfare need. This is a step in the right direction. We need to find ways to make sure that the welfare package of people in the Air Force, people in the Army, people in the police is done in such a way that it brings back pride to that organization, and then a lot more people want to be a part of it, because their job is quite delicate. You can lose your life in the course of duty. Your family must be taken care of, yeah.
Okay, so I have the story with the Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Walian, was speaking yesterday at an agro-industrial processing dialogue event where he was saying that the government's efforts at food production is crucial to drive down inflation. He was saying that, according to him, food is a major driver of inflation, which, when made affordable, can drop inflation and stabilize the exchange rate that we all seek to have. So food is 50% of consumer price index, and that the fact that we will say that food is a core index, but it's not. It has sort of become the non-core because it has become variable, becoming unpredictable. But now, as they are putting more energy into food production, he believes that this will drive down and it will drive down the inflation and also help to strengthen the exchange rate that we all seek to have. And when that happens, private sector can then invest more in other various areas in our economy to strengthen our economy. So he was speaking yesterday in Abuja. He expressed confidence that the SAPS program, which will achieve its potential by driving Nigeria's agro-industrial development, modernizing the economy, adding that the program is a part of the president's macro-economic mobilization efforts to ensure that we strengthen the economy. So we'll see how that goes with the economy.
So a 48-year-old man identified as Okafor was stabbed yesterday well, reportedly by a prostitute, his residence in Jakonde Housing Estate. The police had taken her home the night before, and then she stabbed him. Well, in another paper, it said he didn't give her the money that
They
she requested for. So she stabbed him. And she's in detention now. The police have they took his body to the hospital. He was pronounced dead on arrival.
Oh, died.
So she carry knife go work.
Like
No, probably met it on site.
maybe for
a house now. At the man house.
I think the man house.
So when have you guys started speaking pidgin on this show? Just I've
Okay,
been gone for a while. I'm wondering maybe you guys have changed the format.
So you say she carry knife go work. No, you ask me.
They
But
just
she started with the pigeon this morning. From her banter was pigeon.
Okay, no problem. All right, let's just.
You're mixing us up.
I'm just
Everybody's
I'm just in case I've missed something.
No, you
No,
haven't.
because my partner used to have a driver that used to carry prostitutes.
Oh.
Then they would be fighting outside.
Oh.
Because he has refused to pay them.
Pay them. Wow.
So I think it's
Okay.
such a bad.
Let's move on quickly now to the Punch. Naira for crude. FG panel proposes 6 months supply for Dangote refinery. Lagos begins trial over 2 doctors over patient's death. Oando, 2 foreign firms shortlisted to buy Trinidad's national refinery. Nigerians in Lebanon fault for federal government over evacuation claim. 2027 Obi Kwakonso Alliance proposal will fail, says APC. FG lists 7 states for Mpox, that's monkeypox vaccination. And Fubara camp opposes emergency rule as 3 killed and secretariats raised. Okay.
Okay, so our Nigerian company, Oando PLC, is among the 3 toply shortlisted companies in Trinidad to bid for the state-owned refinery, Petrotrin. This refinery has been shut down since 2018. It was underperforming. It causes a loss of about 2 billion annually. And the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago decided to find something to do about it and decided to sell it. You know, and I'm not excited about the story in Trinidad. Do you know how far it
I
is?
don't understand.
You know, but
Reach America first, so before you enter.
you know, there was one
Those islands.
alleged that I heard about President Obasanjo then that why we started refining outside. So anything that takes our crude outside instead of making it.
I don't think he's taking crude outside. I think he wants to buy.
Bid
He wants to buy.
for Petrotrin. For eventually our crude will find a way there.
Well, we
Then
don't know
comes
that.
back.
We can't speculate that. He's buying.
Now my personal opinion, I share.
All right.
The story no excites me. I
Nigerian
took it
line
out
takes
of
so.
concern.
So no.
Okay, wonderful.
Out of
Okay, let's go.
Whether I
The
don't
short
carry my story.
When we come back, we'll try to continue with the English version of this show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. YK, do you have a story? As your head is down.
While she's getting ready for story, I have the major
YK, are you
headline.
here for work?
I dropped that. You know the belt.
YK, are you here for work?
I won't answer you.
Major headline.
Okay,
so
but
the
BC.
supply of crude oil in Naira to the Dangote Petroleum Refinery by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, that's NNPCL, is to last for 6 months in the first instance, pending a further review by the Technical Subcommittee on Domestic Sales of Crude Oil in Local Currency. So multiple sources from the committee and the Dangote Refinery confirmed on Tuesday that the Naira for crude deal will last only 6 months in the first phase because crude oil being an international product is priced in dollars. That's where my pain is now. Now, meanwhile, Bloomberg reported on Tuesday that the federal government was set to deliver up to 400,000 barrels of Nigerian crude oil daily to the Dangote Refinery. The report said the development is expected to take place over the next 2 months, amounting to over 24 million barrels of Nigerian crude oil supply between October and November, that's this year. Then all marketers also declared that they had yet to receive any information from NNPC and the Dangote Refinery. You know, they have talked about the fact that they are going to open it up for those marketers to be able to source products directly. They won't just be selling to Dangote, so that at least the market forces can balance everything out, and maybe we'll have a reduction in price or feel at the end of the day. But why they are saying that the Naira for crude deal is just for 6 months is what is worrisome. I thought we're getting to a place where it will just be the norm for us, even if it's an international product. But we have it here. We source it locally. Within us, when we're selling to outsiders, we can sell in dollars, right, to get forex into our country. But if you are selling to refineries here, shouldn't we just make it a blanket, sell in Naira, so that everything reduces for us as the first beneficiaries of the product? So I think we're going to be talking about it later on as well.
Okay, let me talk about the story concerning Nigerians in Lebanon. So as the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah intensifies, the federal government said that they claimed that 500 Nigerians had registered for evacuation. They were speaking, the spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Eche Obe, was saying that no fewer than 500 Nigerians had registered with the Nigerian embassy over there for evacuation. However, the president of Nigerians living in Lebanon said that's untrue or incorrect, because according to him, there are over 2,000 Nigerians living there, but the 500 that registered were only registered to be identified as Nigerians within the country, that it was an ongoing exercise for the past 2 years to identify the number of Nigerians who are living with documentation and without documentation. So that 500 that is listed is not for evacuation. But the federal government is insisting that those 500 are for evacuation. But we'll see. Either way, Nigerians in Lebanon are asking, especially for those who feel threatened by the war between Israel and Hezbollah, that they need to be evacuated. So we'll see how that goes with the federal government. Moving on now to Daily Sun. Well, you have a story? I understand, Waiki. Go ahead. Let me let you take your story. Go ahead. You are 65. We understand.
Keep giving me age. No problem. I will collect.
Go ahead. Take your story. I will wait. We'll wait for you.
I wish I was 65.
Yeah, you are 63. Go ahead. Please take your story.
So, the two medical doctors, Michael Atiba and Michael Ubeye, they both have Michael. They are standing trial in the Ikeja High Court. The Lagos State is the prosecutor saying that it's about a patient who died under their care. He had fallen down while playing football, and he injured his leg. From the story, the leg was swollen, and they said it torn a ligament. But then it started to reduce. The mother says he's her only son, was giving testimony and said that he had been calling her and telling her that the leg is getting better, the leg is getting better. So it doesn't say here how he died or why he died.
Infection.
But it's a story that I would
Maybe it was mismanaged. That's why he related.
Really sad. Moving on, let's go on to Daily Sun. Wild rivers. I think Nima took that story earlier. Over 18,500 Lagosians suffering from tuberculosis. Someone whose wife raises alarm. Anti-graft war recovered funds invested in Nelfon and Credit Corps, says President Tinubu. Don't give our salary to local governments. Union tells federal government. Marketers to finalize petrol price evacuation modalities with Dangote refinery. Please, who has that NLC story? Nobody took it.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, so I have a story here. The wife of the Lagos State Governor, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, has raised alarm over the prevalence of tuberculosis in the state, saying available statistics have shown that the number of people suffering from the deadly infectious disease has surged to 18,541. She said this at the media investiture of female chairpersons of local council wives of the local government area and local council development LCDA chairman, and the inauguration of the TB Steering Committee and Stop TB Partnership held in Lagos. That happened in Ikeja. And she explained that the investiture of the 10 female chairpersons and 47 chairmen's wives of the states, 20 local government areas, 37 local council governments, development areas, the inauguration of the Stop TB Partnership, Lagos, and the Off-Field Lagos Steering Committee on TB was a significant milestone in the collective fight against TB. She also said that the disease poses a serious threat to public health globally and in the states, which we understand that is already densely populated. And she says, I quote, the role of chairman, the female chairpersons and wives of local government area chairman is crucial as having grassroots advocacy, TB awareness initiatives, advocacy reforms, and sustainable lines to be implemented, sustainable budget lines to be implemented every year to ensure realistic care planning for the community, which they are planning to put in place from the onset. So they will have new inductees that will be educating, promoting health-seeking behavior, talking about the myths of TB and all of that to see how they can reduce the effects in Lagos. So it's a lot of data here on how many people already have it in Lagos, how many people fall ill. Close to 3.5 million women, 1.3 million children fell ill. That was worldwide for TB, and they narrowed it down to how many persons we have in Nigeria. About 18,541 in Lagos alone have that TB.
Okay, so since local governments and state governors are not trying to, implement what the Supreme Court had ordered about the autonomy of local government, there's a 3-committee memorandum that was signed and given to the federal government. So the union, or Joint Action Committee of Local Governments-Based Union, that's the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, the Nigerian Union of Teachers, and the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, have told the federal government, well, don't worry, since they too don't want to, just send us our money direct from federal government, paid to local government workers direct. Don't pass our money through the local government.
In other words, they should disobey the Supreme Court order.
No,
that's what they're saying.
No, they didn't disobey.
No, they're asking the government to disobey.
The federal government refused since July 11 to implement a Supreme Court order that said it was unconstitutional for governors to hold funds allocated to local government. Local government, the ones even say that they submit their own to governor. Now workers soon say, follow in line. Pay us our money direct. You say don't follow. That's what happened. Since July, are we not in October?
But they are not.
Just the year go the year go end.
The end go
The reason, what I want to bring up from here is that because sometimes with this our country, we have this selective.
We do actually.
The way of.
They are not the ones. This is October.
They are saying. So they are saying that we should disregard that because they are not recognized though by the constitution. Remember, local government that the Supreme Court said give local government money because the constitution recognizes them.
Yes, as a third tier of government.
Constitution recognizes workers, Murayo.
They understand, but not for you to pay workers.
The federal government that went to court on behalf of local government was the Attorney General of the Federation that went to court on this.
Yes.
He got a Supreme Court order to enforce and it can't become difficult.
True.
It can't become difficult. So they put up 10-man committee on implementation.
No.
At this point, Kukuma remove my money, pay me direct. Don't pass my money up and down.
True, I agree.
So they should be paying teachers too directly.
No,
everybody should not. We should
the right of every Nigerian.
So we need a committee for payment.
You don't understand. If on one mad, let all of us mad. That's
together. Exactly.
I'm just saying that we all can continue to be mad like this.
No.
People should do
federal government
well.
should put their amount where they are.
You know why we are mad now?
Any other story in son? Should I move on? There was a story I wanted to take. Okay, our president, he's saying that all the recovered funds, every money he's collecting, all those recovered funds, he's investing it in the social programs that he has. That's the NELF, that's the Nigerian Education Loan Fund. And there was another one, the Credit Corp, that's the Nigerian Credit Corporation. Those are the two places where all the recovered funds are going to. He was speaking at an event yesterday. It was a workshop organized by, for justices and judges, organized by the EFCC in conjunction with National Judicial Institute. So yesterday was saying that all the recovered funds he's getting from all Nigerians. I
thought the president was in London.
Of course, maybe he had.
Can speak from there now.
He sent a letter. You can speak anyway. But pretty much, so those of you always say that all the recovered funds, where is it going? It's going to NEL Fund and it's going to Credit Corp. That's what students
I just wondered because I knew he was on leave.
Okay, moving on now. Okay, we have just one more paper. Vanguard. Let's see, find a story we've not taken. Court reduces bail to 5 million naira for #EndSARS governance protesters. Let's find another story. Tinubu committed to food security. Malnutrition. FG can World Bank unite to save 11 million children. And which other story? Which story haven't taken?
Okay, so they had bad governance. The court had initially put bail for about 10 protesters at 100 million, but the court has now varied the bail terms to 5 million. This money, not be money where they go pay cash before people will say. It's just, varying, making it easier for them to meet their bail terms and then granting them bail. So basically, that's what it's about. The EndSARS had bad governance protesters that were arrested August 1st. Some of them are still in detention and unable to meet some of their bail terms, which, of course, made the court vary it to 5 million yesterday.
Okay, that is all we can take on today's review. When we come back on to our next segment, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So our hot topic today is about Akwa Ibom State Governor Umo Eno, who allegedly appointed his daughter, Mrs. Ellen Eno Obareki, as the acting First Lady of the state following the death of his wife, late Pastor Patience Umo Eno. The announcement was made during a condolence visit by the Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, and other dignitaries in Uyo on Friday. Of course, many obviously said this was inappropriate. It came with lots of criticisms. They said it was wrong for him to do that. But he has also come out to say he never said that. He said that he made it clear. What he said specifically, according to the governor, was that when the First Lady came, that he said because his daughter is special assistant to her late mother, she was in the right position to coordinate the office of the First Lady of the state. So he wasn't appointing her as First Lady. He was saying that as a special assistant, she can coordinate in the office of the First Lady. But either way, of course, it was interpreted in 10 different ways. But the conversation now is the office of the First Lady, number one, is it constitutionally recognized? What's the role of the First Lady? And is it appropriate for you to appoint a daughter, a sister, someone to be running things in the office of the First Lady? That's the conversation. Because once we agree with the governor of Akwa Ibom State, it's possible that other governors might begin to consider it. So anybody can say, you know what, First Lady, stay at home. I want my daughter to be in charge of your office. What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 081 0764 1679 090 241 63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. All right, so we have heard the tweets, and I'd like to start with you because you're a lawyer amongst us, to see the legal angle first. Do you is this even right? Is it recognized, and is it illegal, or is it okay?
The office of the First Lady is not constitutionally recognized, so there's no provision that legitimizes or illegitimizes it.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, the ceremonial appointment for certain CSR that the office of the governor or the president would like to be carried out. And on their own, we interviewed the former First Lady, and she was saying how she has to raise funds for most of her charities. So she uses the influence of her office, raises funds, and does her reach outs and all of that, uses the influence of the wife of the president and people who would like access. So she can call on a Dangote and say, I have 1,000 children displaced in certain places. I would like foods, I would like that. And so that's what the office is about. So if Governor Eno on his own decides that, upon the death of my wife, I cannot leave this office vacant, he can choose whoever. There's no legitimacy or illegitimacy about it because the Constitution does not provide for it and does not legitimizes the creation of it. Because if it has, all these years, I'm sure that the Femi Falanas and the Gani Fawemi of this world would have
spoken up about
that such offices become completely declared redundant, but or null and void. But they've never been declared null and void, and so it's not an office that you can decide. I think he can choose whoever.
Now that we've thought on that angle, BC, what are your thoughts on this declaration? Let me not say appointment.
So if he had appointed another woman for that position, they will say the woman is the side chick. He's not even waiting. He's not even allowing somebody to rest in the ground. He's already carrying woman publicly. Now he decided to appoint somebody who has been working with the lady, his wife, who knows what plans they've made so far. When you work as a special assistant, you're like, you know everything your madam has planned. You know all the project people, because most of the time you are the one even handling the project. So you know what needs to be focused on. You know where the resources are going to be gotten from. You've had conversations with the people you're doing the projects with. You can easily, fill in the gap without your madam's presence. And so he's decided to, okay, just go ahead with it. And then people are, coming up against it. Is it a family matter? Is that a family business? Let's even temper justice with mercy. Let's even act like human beings. Do we expect him to start fishing for somebody else, since it's not a constitutional position in the first place, to now start looking for, okay, who else will come and fill in this gap? Once is the person who has been handling it, whether it's the daughter or not, I think it's a given that she can handle that. Whether it's the daughter or not, it shouldn't matter.
Mike, what are your initial thoughts on this?
Let's give us. Okay,
I think the first person that wrote the story gave us a misleading. He said he has announced his daughter as the first lady, acting first lady. So I think that is what caused the
rancor.
But he later came out to explain. So since he has come out to explain, apart from the nepotism, I think it's okay.
And he
why is this nepotism now?
But we'll come to the issue of nepotism in a second. But does this raise an issue of the fact that maybe we should begin to legitimize this office? The reason is because we know how important the role of first ladies have been. On Babangida's time, when we had Miriam Babangida,
for the influential one
they were quite influential. They actually have capacity. We saw what Fayemi's wife did in Ekiti. So she drove when it comes to issues of domestic violence and rape, she put that matter on her head. So she ensured that they were able to have a public what's that thing? Registration of offenders.
Public offenders
so these are things that first ladies have fought for. So it is an important office. So, and the reason why we have laws is to legitimize things like this, because there's a possibility that maybe the wife of the deputy governor might feel that, well, in this, I was working with my first lady. Unfortunately, she died. I would like to step into those shoes to do the work. So why you now bring your daughter to take over? So that might cause a rancor, don't you think?
At the risk of being interpreted to compel marriage for governors. You know, we have one governor now in Benue, no have wife.
Even the Edo governor, they say the governor-elect say
you know, get wife.
No, that one have plenty. But so we cannot know. He doesn't want an Oshun episode, so we don't know who we be.
Okay.
But when BC was talking, she was talking about if you had put her down, they'll say she's side chick. Yes, so it happened before. You know, the governor of my state, the former governor, lost his wife in office, and within his term, we got a new first lady. I don't know rest on this.
They didn't rest.
The spec they describe, she's a side chick. She
has been there.
They describe her. We see, it's still in my corner of my mind thinking, what happened? What led to how quick she became first lady? That's just to buttress that thing BC have said.
Yes. So the deputy
back to legitimizing.
Should we
is at the risk of compelling marriage. So if the first lady's office is that of a wife, if a person doesn't have a wife or loses his wife in office, he cannot be filled without the certificate of marriage. Then people will go to court and interpret who should be a first lady, how she should be. So your daughter can then be a replacement.
Yes.
It's better left the way it is, since it's a charity CSR position.
She should continue to act.
To do the work.
Anybody can then do the work.
Not for her to become acting first lady.
No, of course
not. Does that mean the deputy governor's wife would now have to be answering to her when it comes to the project that have been collectively agreed? Hang in there for a second.
Now you're talking.
Do we put a structure around? Because now deputy governor's wife and
no, we're discussing law now.
I'm just saying that.
No, you're making sense. Yes, because if the governor, what they call spare tire, they call the deputy governor spare tire to the office of the governor. If you legitimize first lady, then become that they are spare tires to the office of the first lady. So in our absence, that of the position should be immediately filled by the first lady. Of the deputy governor's wife.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's what you're...
So I'm just saying, these are the conversations that would start happening. Let me come to you.
So I think there's what they call a gentleman's agreement. Because the hierarchy, we're looking at the hierarchy now, the governor's wife first, then the deputy governor's wife, before the PAs or the assistants, right? So that's the order of hierarchy. Now that the governor's wife is out, the assistant should not be above the deputy governor's wife. But they will work together. So she stands in for her madam that is no longer there. But then she understands the hierarchy that the deputy governor's wife is higher than her. So they will have to work together. It's not something we need to start writing. This is how we should use our brain sometimes to understand some of these things. Now, where the project comes and there's a form of disagreement, they can always find somebody who, probably in the committee, who would decide, okay, let's do this first and let's do that first. I don't think the deputy governor's wife would, after a death, will now come and say, okay, it's now my turn to shine. I want to now take over the project and all of that.
It's not about a turn.
We have to go on a very short break. I mean, I know this is a conversation that I'd like to expand a bit more. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. I know we started this conversation about what the governor of Akwa Ibom had said concerning his daughter, but I think I would like us to expand it to the role of first ladies, because there's so much work to be done, and we've not seen quite a number of first ladies, you know, taking on that office appropriately. Because yes, this is just an appointment or a declaration for you to take on your mother's role, but how do we use this opportunity to remind the first ladies of our nation across board, because they have all these meetings, all these conferences, and there's really nothing. I mean, we saw even during former President Atiku Abubakar's wife, Titi Abubakar, she one of the people that championed NAPTIP. You know, these are women that fought to see what they can do to stop child trafficking. We saw the work they did. The first ladies of our states today, how many of their voices are we hearing? So there's no legitimate office of the First Lady. But how much more can they use their office and their leverage to achieve for both women and children?
Yeah, so I think it's about having passion for something. If your husband is going for a political position and you know that by crook or by hook, you're the next, you are the supportive partner who will be doing that, it's for you to find something you're really passionate about. Most times we don't see many first ladies act because life is soft for them and they do not really have a passion. So we now start, okay, what do we now think of? What do we now look for? What's the issue they have in this place? What's the issue they have in that place? Okay, let's put things together. And so you don't see a long-lasting impact. The president's wives, the governor's wives that have shown impact are people who, when they speak, you know that they are passionate about this thing. They have felt this pain in one way or the other, and they have a voice. They are using their platform to speak for those people. They are making things work. They are looking for the resources anyhow they want to get it just to handle that project. So if we have more governor's wives, president's wife who have a passion for something, you look around, see, the issues in Nigeria are enormous. There are issues in the rural communities. A lot of people need help. Help that even if we start waiting for the government to do everything, before it gets to those people, we go don't die finish. You know, you pick on those projects, you handle those projects, you make noise about the project. Also, you speak up about the project. Then you have something that we are looking forward to, that you are the one that pioneered this, you are the one that followed through with this. And even after your husband leaves office, you will still supervise, you still volunteer to do work in that project. So we just need more passionate people. Just find, you don't have to do everything. You don't have to be everywhere. Just find something you know that if I put my voice here, I will help these people. I will help their lives. I will lift them up. I will contribute to.
But in their defense, some of them might be doing. And they're just not making noise about it.
They should make noise. We need to.
Some of them are in their various small capacity. Because you took a story this morning about the First Lady of Lagos State. And it was like the first time I'm hearing her name in the papers in a very long time. Like, I mean, when I heard Dr. Ibijo, I'm like, really, she's in the papers. What happened? Because I hardly hear her name.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
Works,
but we know she's working because people will hear what she's doing in the health sector.
Yeah.
But it's the noise is not there. So I think we need more visibility with our first ladies. We need them to be, there's got to be, so because there has to be some way where we can legitimize their roles.
When it's not a constitutional...
And that's what I'm saying. Should we push for it? Therefore, should we...
In this world of social media and PR, you know, there's so much you can do to to promote what you're doing.
Yeah, visibility.
For the office of the First Lady of Lagos, I really wish that she would focus more and prioritize all those primary health care centers. She's in the medical business, and she should not allow some doctors be escaping to primary health care centers so they can be sleeping on duty, and they will not be serving people. It's something that, you know, she can take much more than where it is right now. And so when you talk about the impact of First Ladies, some First Ladies leave their legacies on ground. If you talk about NAPTIP as a body and the redefinition of rape, you can't forget articles. What's her first name? Titi Atiku.
Yeah.
You can't forget her. When you talk about Miriam Babangida, you remember Delta State. For not give honor state for us.
What did they worry you?
Yeah,
This morning.
you know, so you remember them.
Let me
take this caller. Good morning. Thanks for calling. You're live. Oh, we lost that caller. So, I mean, my worry is that we've had issues of change of mentality, sensitization. You know, government, your husbands are putting out policies. The House of Assemblies in your states are bringing out policies to protect women, to protect minors, to protect various vulnerable communities. Your job is to interpret those laws, enhance it, let people know. Listen, you can now localize. God bless you. Go around. Now you are now entitled to own property. Don't let anybody take your daughters. You know, those are the kind of things we need to see First Ladies do. But what we see is carry handbag, look beautiful, come in with all their security. Hey, she's coming. Sit down, do small speech and go, and that's it. We need much more than that.
Some do more than that. Some fights in public.
Where?
Patience.
I don't remember that one that fought. Was it Obiano?
Those ones are legacy for slaps.
Those ones are outgoing. The fight was outgoing.
Outgoing fight.
Was outgoing fight, wasn't it? No, so I have a caller. Good morning. Thanks for calling from Cameroon. Good morning. Okunaya, you're live. Good morning. You're live.
How are you?
Very well. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, my name is Apostle Dr. Joel. I'm a Nigerian,
Yes.
but I'm resident in
Cameroon.
Yaoundé. I'm calling from Yaoundé.
Good to have you. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Morayo. I enjoy your program each time in Yaoundé, in Cameroon.
Thank you, sir.
We enjoy the program every day.
Thank you.
Yes, I want to make a contribution to the appointment of the governor's daughter as the First Lady of a private state. Well, for me, I don't think it's a nice one. It's a nice one. The governor unfortunately lost the wife. We still sympathize with him from Cameroon. But appointing the wife as the First Lady, the daughter as the First Lady in the state, I don't think is the best decision. For me, as a Nigerian resident in Cameroon, I don't approve that. I don't agree with that.
Right. Thank you. Well, so let us just be clear. So he's saying that because his wife passed and as special assistant to his wife, he said, "Your daughter, you continue with the work in your mother's office." So that's it's not as if he's appointing her, but should be playing the role of.
Nima made a statement just now, a few minutes ago, about deputy governors being practically redundant. Yes. This shows that kind of
Exactly.
because it's not his daughter that should have stepped in. It's the wife of the deputy.
God bless you. Now we're going somewhere.
Governor. That's
the hierarchy this was talking about earlier. That really and truly, if you don't want any issue of rancor or animosity, what the governor should have declared that now that my wife passed, the deputy governor's wife will be driving it. However, my special assistant wife work with the wife of the deputy governor so you can drive your mother's vision.
I think that's a logical way.
That makes better sense because these are the kind of issues that come up when there's no law that defines people's role.
So but this we can even imply that there's a law, because there are ceremonial jobs anyway, and the two elected offices recognized is that of the deputy governor as well as the governor. So automatically, if there's a woman in that position, except his deputy governor is a woman, and which even makes it better if a woman must head them, She will do a deputy governor.
Yes, that is even makes it more. If she's actually the deputy governor, then she should head it.
Yes.
Not
Automatically.
his daughter.
But you know, we play
It's a
politics
man
and
who
family.
is the deputy governor.
Is what?
Unfortunately,
His wife now.
we have to
His
wrap
wife.
up.
Not married.
Unless he's not married.
We have to wrap up on this, but I'm happy that
Like Nima's
Former governor.
governor-elect.
No, the former governor, Oshomole, has a wife. Oh.
No, she said governor-elect. Oh. Governor-elect have...
Governor-elect, please, I've been
What we are
I've been
hearing.
out of town for a
Yeah,
while.
you've been out of the
So
country,
what's going on? I've been out of town for a while. I was in
You just
Glasgow.
got back.
Yeah, I just got back.
So,
what happened
Tiri-
to this, your elected governor? What happened?
Oh,
governor get women.
I will die on this table.
Women. And we are Africans.
Governor no get wife.
No, he get women.
Oh.
Eh? No, they never pick the one.
Sure.
There's no elected or appointed one.
Television.
It's something they used to campaign now.
Yes,
Hey, you
nah.
have each other now. We
Yes,
talk about
and we know now, but
He get women and children.
you don't have wife. Are you sure there's no wife?
Now the marriage certificates now one see.
Yes,
I
we want to
women.
see.
I have gone to our family and asked for her now marriage now.
Okay.
Now I want make great happen for
get
you.
women.
Come and
Let's
be
see
happening.
What happened in Osun?
Where two women say one declare
When the
charity first lady one.
another one
The other one declare when they wanted to receive the first lady in Osho. It
Hey.
was news item now.
You were not in the country.
You're not in the country.
I was not in the country. Oh.
So the two first ladies now, I think what was it, two of them showed up. And we went,
No,
receive
I hope they didn't fight.
president's
yes.
They didn't slap
They
themselves.
want.
Because that one me they
Governor
like
have
when
to
they
step
slap
in. We did it
themselves.
as hot topic.
let's not be
No,
slapped.
they cannot be slapping
But
themselves.
I
have
said, now
to
that
wrap
one me
up.
I like. You see, my life is boring. So these things excites me.
Like it. 70 is looking at you like this.
I see the bad.
70 is looking at you.
Yes, and I'm looking at it. And I'm looking at it, welcoming it.
Anyways, before I wrap up on this segment, we must remind ourselves that our current First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has tried to have our own pet project, which is ensuring that we all plant a tree. Not a plant a tree. Have a garden in our homes. And we have all refused to have gardens in our houses.
No, I have.
have.
I want inside bucket.
Because the idea is that part of her legacy is that when she leaves office, she expects that everybody we're able to be self-sufficient.
But if you see my
tomatoes,
water
yam, things we need.
I have
gardens in our
an
houses.
avocado tree, and all the staff eat the avocado before I see it. The avocado don't they bomb.
You know that say don't they produce food.
I never see one for my life. One.
Okay, we have to go. So
I harvested
this,
bananas from.
Let me see any comments in social media.
He plenty. Oh.
Please,
Okay,
yeah, let's take-
Why
we have
kid?
to
I
wrap
just
up.
laughing at you there.
So I have a call. I have a message here. Say hello, Akwa Ibom DG is a lady or deputy governor. Ekon Eka Kenyi, a former minister. Yes,
So she should take over that.
She should take over for that. Yeah.
Someone
so-
said on YouTube as well. Our Twitter people. I'm sorry.
Okay, I think that's all we can
the
take. We don't
X.
have any comments on social media, but really,
No, somebody said I should tell BC. BC, you yourself know say Asaba not supposed to be capital for our beloved state.
Olajide says, give the matter to the Council of Elders to deal with and move.
Okay, the council of your ladies have said their own.
Yes,
and I
so-
think really and truly, we believe that, I'd like to summarize what we said so far. Yes, there's nothing legally wrong in what the Akwa Ibom governor did. However, I think it's something we should consider where that role is legitimized because there's quite a lot of substance to that role and there's quite a lot of work that can be done with that role. We've seen it done with, what's the one that Babangida's wife did? Rural women,
Better life for rural
women. We saw NAPTIP. We've seen quite a few projects. And we see one that our current First Lady is working on. So a lot of things that can be done with First Ladies. And we are hoping that if it's legitimized, we can then force and ensure and then that each First Lady becomes more active and effective in their various states. That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, move on to our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So yesterday, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, announced that the company is ending its exclusive purchasing deal with Dangote Refinery, paving the way for other fuel marketers to source petrol directly from the facility. Now, this is a big deal, but many Nigerians still don't understand what it means. So to help us have a better understanding, to have the impact of this announcement will be on us, is an energy professional, an engineer. He's Engineer Mustafa Samaila Ngawa. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
So we'll like to start with this announcement because, as I said, one of the things I love about this show is the fact that we're able to bring complex matters and break it down for Nigerians to understand. So what Nigerians are expecting that now that Dangote says, now that NNPC is no more that exclusive off-taker, everybody can now, marketers who are registered can now go to Dangote to buy PMS for distribution. Now, Nigerians are expecting that might affect the cost of PMS. Could you help us understand if that's going to be the case?
Okay, good morning. Am I audible now?
Yes, very clearly.
Okay, so just like you said yesterday, NNPC announced, even though there is no official announcement from them, but it is all over the news that they are no longer now the sole off-taker of Dangote refinery petrol. What that means is that if there is any element of subsidy in the previous pump price, it will no longer be there. In simple terms, the last order NNPC bought from Dangote refinery that came at about 898 plus all other charges. The price was calculated at about 950 in some places and about 1,000 in some places. It was clear that NNPC sold that product, that particular order, to marketers at about 790 something. So that means NNPC paid a differential of about 133 naira per liter.
Yeah.
Yes. So for NNPC to withdraw from being the sole off-taker now, that means that differential cannot be paid by NNPC and cannot be paid by anybody else, which means Nigerians will be the ones to pay for everything. There will be no single subsidy. Other words, differential being paid for any liter of petrol bought in the market. So that means the price is likely to go up, but we don't know to what extent, but this development will likely result in increase in pump price at filling stations.
Okay, let me ask a question. So one of the things some experts are saying is now that the NNPC will not be the sole off-taker of products, right? Marketers now have an opportunity to negotiate prices. And as many marketers are getting into the business, a lot more people will pump money into the business because it now becomes lucrative. You put in money, you make a profit from it. We will likely start seeing a reduction in the pump price later on. Is that what is going to happen eventually using market forces?
Yes, competition is one of the major market forces that help pricing. But in this case, we already have other modular refineries, and they have been producing other products like the LPFO, the diesel, the aviation fuel, and the rest. But the problem is that even Dangote, there is a particular threshold of price that it cannot go lower than that. So even if marketers have negotiation power, it can only be to an extent. There is a particular threshold that Dangote refinery cannot go below. So that negotiation power cannot influence the pricing to a large extent. But what will influence the pump price is the number of marketers that have access to Dangote refinery. If we have like 10 marketers, 20 marketers, 30 marketers buying directly from Dangote refinery at the same price, so the competition will come in through the pump price, because the lower your price, the more customers you have. So that's where the competition will help the market.
Okay, so what's the implication of this naira for crude? How? Because what you are saying now in my heart is pumping. You know that, we know if crude is based, I'm sorry, if petrol is based on the price of crude in dollars as a final product, it will be too high based on the present circumstance for us to pay. So what's the implication of this naira for crude that the NNPC was, president had ordered initially?
Okay, so I think it has started on October 1st, just like announced by the coordinating minister of economy. Even though the media doesn't have, it's not in the full picture of the structure. Nobody knows the structure, how it was structured, how that transaction is structured. But from assumptions, practical assumption is that the government will sell crude to Dangote in naira, but at equivalent dollar rate of the prevailing crude oil price. So if that is the case, the only impact on our economy from that transaction is that it will put less pressure on our currency, because about 40% of our forex demand is going to PMS imports. Yes, because I think about $3 billion is going. We are spending about $3 billion for imports every month, and about 1.2, 1.3 is going for PMS alone. So if we have
For clarity,
it here in Nigeria.
For clarity, help me understand. For clarity, help me understand. So if dollar is 1,600, what the NNPC would do is that the cost of a liter,
Yes.
that they will determine for of crude that they'll give to Dangote, is just to convert the amount of dollar a barrel is to
Yes.
naira and sell it at that same value. So we're still
At that value.
nothing changed now.
Nothing else, but there is less pressure on dollar.
No, that's
naira.
for the.
Over time, the naira will come. The value of the naira will appreciate, and once naira appreciates, that means the amount Dangote will pay for the crude will also go down, and ultimately the price of the pump price will also go down.
Okay,
so
good. That's good.
this is like long-term something.
Okay.
So if they repaired the refineries, our own refineries, would it go down even further? Because that's another thing. Dangote will be the only one selling
Local
fuel now. If we have other refineries selling it, won't the prices go down further?
Yes, because of competition now. Because of competition, the prices will go down further. Because this one is government refinery. So I believe their profit margin will be much lower than private refineries. So if we have that product in the market, it will compel private refineries to also adjust their prices to something more reasonable. Because government is not much after profit, but after serving the needs of the country. So I believe with coming of other government refineries, there is high propensity that the prices of finished product will drastically go down.
Let's pick your brain a bit, because you're a professional in this sector, and it's something. It's all the time we have a professional who can share some insights. One of the issues we've had concerning petrol in this country is how much are Nigerians consuming. There were indications in the past where they said that most of our petrol is being taken to other neighboring states. And now that we're having Dangote, we can now know specifically how much Nigerians are consuming. With this, do you think the marketers would also sell only within Nigeria, or we still would not know how much we are producing? Because if this marketer starts taking our crude, or our petrol outside, we still would know how much Nigerians are consuming. Would that be a problem, do you think?
Okay, so the major reason for that diversion is because the market was subsidized. Because PMS is cheaper in Nigeria than it is in Nigeria, than it is in Cameroon, than it is in Chad, than it is in Benin Republic, which are our borders. So because we used to subsidize, it is better for them to buy the subsidized one from Nigeria and then go there and sell. Our marketers gain more profits selling in Niger, Cameroon, Benin than selling in Nigeria because it's very cheap. But with this development, if the PMS is sold at fair market price, that means there is no need for diverting it. It is the same thing in Niger. Niger people, marketers can come to Dangote and buy, Benin marketers can come to Dangote and buy because the price is a fair price, the market price. So with this development, I believe we will see, we'll be able to determine our actual consumption because the removal of subsidy last year also exposed that to an extent. We used to consume, allegedly consume 60 million, but after removal of subsidy, it came down to about 40 million. And that 40 million is still overestimation. So with this development, I believe we'll be able to know exactly what our consumption is.
Yeah, and I also, in addition to that, I also think that it will be difficult to smuggle it out when it's almost at the same price. Normally what they do is, because of the subsidy, we sell it lower here, then they smuggle and sell at the right price. But now when you are smuggling to sell the same thing, nobody will be buying from you. But I wanted to ask, because it was in the papers this morning, that the crude for Naira for crude will only be lasting for 6 months. Do you have a confirmation for that? Because what I thought initially was it was going to be a template for us in Nigeria. Since the crude is gotten here, anybody who will be buying from here will be buying in Naira to reduce the pressure on the Forex. But if we're selling to the international market, we now sell in USD. Can you confirm to us, sir?
No, like you said, there is no official document pointing to that.
Okay.
Like I said earlier, we don't have the structure now officially released by the government on how this transaction would look like. But there, at some point, my advocacy, I made it clear that this transaction is unsustainable. So this is just confirming to me that, yes, my conviction is right. It's unsustainable. And the reason for that is crude oil is traded in dollar, and it's global commodity. So if you are saying you are transacting in local currency, that means you are deviating from the normal path, the original way of doing the transaction. So that means it is actually unsustainable because, number one, Nigeria will be, just like the value of Naira will be appreciating, also Nigeria will be losing some revenue in dollars. And then it is obstructing the local, the global crude supply, which I believe Nigeria wouldn't want to be part of a party to that obstruction. So this is just about, like a peculiar situation that is born out of desperation or born out of desperate situation.
Let me ask you, sir. Let me add something to the question. So in my head, our relations with the international consumers, shouldn't it be different from our local consumers? Is there no way we can separate it and still have a balance? So if I am transacting internationally with my crude, I'll put it at an international price, no giving. I'm not going to sell my crude to Ndi Obodo Yibo in Naira. It's not going to happen. But if I'm selling to my people, because the fact that they own the product should give them a form of, like if you check other countries where resources are gotten from the particular country, we see that the citizens of that country have more benefits than outsiders. Can we not play it that way and still make what we are making from the international market, but our own is different from what is happening in the international level? Is it not possible?
It will bring corruption.
How?
So what I was saying is that there is still going to be benefit. This 6 months, the assumption is that after these 6 months, the value of Naira will have appreciated to the extent that even if we sell in dollar, it will not be noticed.
Wow.
Because if we have dollar at 1,200, which is realistic in 6 months, if we don't have that too much pressure on dollar, we can, the Naira can appreciate up to 1,200, 1,000 Naira per dollar with this transaction going on, because it's taking off 40% of dollar demand on the Naira. So once we have that, that means the naira has appreciated, and the amount we are selling, the price we are selling to Dangote, crude Dangote is also going down, and then ultimately the PMS will go down. So that is the benefit. That's why I believe this transaction will take only 6 months. By that time, maybe all things will have been equal.
I wanted to ask concerning the refineries again, as an expert in this sector. Vike asked earlier that do you think Nigeria should start investing in rehabilitating the current refineries that we have? We read in the papers this morning that a private company, Oando, is bidding to buy a refinery in Trinidad and Tobago. And we're thinking, how do we, in your own professional perspective, do you think, how do we even begin to get more refineries, private and public owned, so that to bring the cost of, to have more players in this sector?
Okay, like I said, we have about 3 or 4 refineries. 3, but one is categorized as 2, the Port Harcourt refinery. And the total capacity is 440 or so. So the more refineries we have, the more energy security the country will have, because it means that we have more options, and we have excess that we can even export. Because PMS, we have countries around us that are also battling with this energy insufficiency. So once we can have enough to export, that means we already have a market where our product is going. So it is very good to have as much refineries as possible. And then for me, the government refineries, the 4 of them, after the rehabilitation, almost all of them are under rehabilitation now, the Warri, Port Harcourt, and Kaduna refineries. And I believe that after rehabilitation, this should be commercialized. And rightfully so, the NNPC announced, I think about 2 or 3 months ago, that they are inviting interested companies to tender for maintenance. They are not commercializing, they are just going to do service contracts. Qualified companies that are shortlisted will sign contract with NNPC for maintenance of the refinery, maybe 5-6 years, 6-year contract or so. After that, another company can come in, or if you perform well, you maintain the contract. So that means NNPC will have no business maintaining the refinery. That company that won it will be the one solely responsible for managing the refinery.
I was wondering, in a bid to making the naira stronger, why are we always thinking in dollars? Why don't we think in naira? If they want my crude oil, buy my crude oil in naira, so that they will now be looking for naira.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are we always looking for dollar, and everybody look for naira? So when they're looking for naira, it will now.
You know, the problem is that we have government is not only looking at it is also looking at their own expenditure, their own budgeting, their own fiscal issues. You know, we cannot run away from it that dollar is the determining currency across the globe.
Who made it the determining currency? Who?
Yes,
which people are involved in that?
Our reserve is foreign exchange reserve is still in dollar. Almost everything is in dollar.
Wow.
So, and almost everything that if our importers are importing equipment, every other thing that we are importing, we are doing in dollars. So we have to think in dollars, seriously. It's not only in Nigeria, it's almost everywhere. So there is no way we can run away from dollar. The best thing is for us to work on the parameters that make it stronger or otherwise. So I think that's what the government is currently doing. That's why you see almost every one of the main objectives of central bank is foreign exchange management. If you look at it, you see that almost every central bank in the world is concentrating on dollar, because that's the the globally most acceptable
Right.
currency.
Okay, let me take Nima's question. Go ahead.
If the petroleum industry bill now law had stated that our local refineries should buy crude in naira, is this 6 months trial period? Is it possible that the NNPC after 6 months will end the crude naira for crude?
Petroleum Industry Act did not specify that local refinery must buy in naira. It only gave option that it can be traded in naira or any other currency as accepted and by the authorities. And this is one of government has agreed that it can be sold in naira for this period, and government can still reverse the decision and say that we continue doing it in dollars. So it depends. Any currency that is acceptable to Nigeria, as the owner of the crude, PIA has agreed to that.
All right, we have to wrap up with you, but I mean, I think in a nutshell, I would just like you to paint a picture for Nigerians, because this was supposed to be good news for us, but still, because we are realizing that the pricing might not change much, so we're still a bit skeptical. So where do you see us in the next 6 months to 1 year? How do you think things will be? Just help us understand now that Dangote Refinery will be selling to multiple marketers and distributing across the country.
Okay, so the benefit for Nigerians, number one, I'm happy to announce that we will have at least sufficient supply of the product in the market. I believe we will not be having issues to queue for 1 hour, 2 hours before we can buy fuel. That's one benefit.
Amen.
Nigerians will stand to benefit. Number two is that in the next 6 months, one year, I believe the price of dollar will come down. And if the price of dollar comes down, I believe it will affect almost everything in the economy, including PMS, because it's the first point of contact, because it is the most dollar-rated commodity we have in the market. So I believe the dollar will come down, and it will affect the pricing of petroleum products, including PMS. So by the next 6 months, I hope we will be buying PMS
much
at
cheaper.
a lower price.
All right, that's all we can take.
much.
Thank you very much. We've been speaking with Engineer Mustafa Samaila Ngawa. Thank you very much. We're going to go on a short break. When we come back, continue with the next segment of the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So Friday, 11th of October, worldwide, is the day set aside to celebrate the International Day of the Girl Child. The theme this year is Girls' Vision for the Future. The theme conveys both the need for urgent action and persistent hope, driven by the power of girls' voices and vision for the future. Joining us now to discuss this is Nonye Kalibechi. She's the Director of Communication for the Motherhood NG Initiative. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good to have you.
Thank you for having me. Thank
So,
you.
I mean, all our kids in school are getting ready for 11th of October, girl child. I told my girl to come in a nice dress. My girl said, Mommy, I don't have a dress. So you go and find a dress. But tell us this year's theme about the vision for girls' future. What do you make of it?
Okay, so like every year it gets better with the theme, and I'm particularly impressed with the theme this year. You know, it's usually in honor of United Nations International Day of the Girl Child. So this year's theme is Girls' Vision for the Future. Girls' Vision for the Future. So what is it? You know, how do you empower girls? And for us, you know, what we have is in line with this year's theme, which is how do we empower these girls? You know, but we have something special. We have a core project that we are trying to run this year. We call it Teenage Wellness Project, Teenage Well Project. And what's this project about? Is actually what we do is usually go to secondary schools, talk to young girls, you know, share what we have, because we notice, in Nigeria alone, that it is estimated that 37 million women and girls suffer period poverty. What it means is they do not have access to affordable sanitary wares. So our goal is to go to schools, but for us, it's in 3 prongs. 1, you distribute those materials, sanitary wares to them, and 2, educate them, and then career counseling. That's what we do basically for those girls.
37 million.
Yes, estimated 37 million women and girls suffer period poverty.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
And period is necessary.
Every
month. You can't escape period.
You can't, as a young girl.
Hey.
So let's talk about the
And
things.
37 million, that's a
Yeah, the things that
Nigeria alone.
That limits, because you said you're talking about
Yes.
girl wealth.
Teenage wealth.
Teenage wealth. So what are the things that limit young girls in advancing, career-wise, education-wise? You mentioned the period. I remember period can be, dilapidating or limiting for some girls because they can't step out.
Yeah.
What other things? How does, their sexual choices, all of those things, how does it feature in?
Okay, so why we're particular about this, like from the estimate I said, and it's even in the UK, for instance, about 49% of girls stay out of school during their period. 1, it is the pain. And then in this part of the world, there's what we call period shaming, where because you're in your period, 1, you do not have access to sanitary wares. What they do is they skip school. And when they skip school, it affects them. And you know that period poverty, it leads to those urinary tract and reproductive infection that girls suffer. So you don't have a good toilet, some of them in school. So they have reasons. So many, like I said, the reason 1, okay, they look, especially public schools, those underserved communities, because we are particular about the underserved community. So they look around and like, oh, we don't have a good toilet. And then when I go to school and I don't have the proper sanitary wear or pad on,
I get stained.
I get stained. And when I get stained, either I get bullied or people shame you because of that. So they would rather stay out of school for those period of, for those days that they go through their period. And it affects them. And their overall well-being, for instance. So you're not going to school, you have poor hygiene in your school, even the environment most of them grew up. It affects the overall well-being of the girl child. And it affects, of course, like we said, subsequently in life, we know the damage that can cause to them. So it's a whole lot of things. And what we want to do is let's reduce it. Let's see how we can distribute. If you use pad like we all do, there was a time that even for an average person, somehow, I would say it's affordable, but now, you know how much it is to just get one. And even when you get that one, it might not last, for how many days, depending on your flow. So most people don't even get a very good one. So you just see them, with that kind of thing. And they say some use clothes, some use tissue. Those things are not hygiene. They affect them. They affect their well-being. Yeah.
As much as I hear you, totally agree with a lot of things you said, but sometimes we just label all these things. These are things that we all grew up with.
Yeah.
Situations where we found a way to just, we went to boarding houses and we didn't die. But now, 20 years later, they're calling it period poverty or period, they're giving a lot of things.
No, it's serious. No,
listen, I'm not
your experiences.
Listen, I'm not disputing it. I'm just saying that we label these things now and make it a big deal because somehow we're able to help girls to become, I don't want to use the word resilient, but they find a way around it. So it's wrong. They should get access to sanitary towels, totally. But I just feel like all these names are
mushy.
Just mushy. Listen, you find a way to sort yourself out.
Life is
It depends on the flow. For my experience for period was not. It was almost like we know what she's talking about, and the information was not adequate.
Yeah.
Information was I was expected to find it normal, and it was limiting. Imagine that you have a flow as heavy as what, and your small body, you're sitting somewhere, but what you have dropped, he cannot stand up. And there's no period sanitary pad that was made for that kind of flow at the time. So I did not have...
Experiences vary.
Another thing that we also discovered, because we've interacted with these girls, and we had a story of one of them walked up to us and said she was raped because she needed money for pad, and she approached a guy to say, help me. I need, you know how it is. Boys really, they bully these girls with the state, especially when you don't do it properly. I know growing up, we use all the wrapper, we pad ourselves and all of that, so you don't see anything. But the truth is, they don't have enough education out there about some of them just, it depends on your upbringing and your growing up. Some don't even have that necessary education on how to take care of this. And she was eventually raped because she asked for, and the guy promised, you know what, every month I am going to supply you pads, sanitary wear if you need it. I know in the course of that, she got raped. So these are the issues.
Real life issues.
Yes, real life issues that, and we said, why not help these girls? One, for us, we want to educate you, and we want to, if we can, we've reached out to about 2,000 girls and more in the past, but we want to expand and reach out to more girls.
So that brings me to my
Yes.
question. Are you collaborating with some of these companies that manufacture these pads? Because I know they are very expensive. The project is capital intensive. Are there people who are willing to fund what you're doing to support you? Have you reached out to them? Do you have people you're working with already that will make it easier for?
We have one or two we're working with, but we need more.
Okay.
So we need more people to come on board, partner with us. And if we have said, we already have the number of schools we want to visit this year, this Friday. So we want more. So if you're asking and you get, you can only afford or get pad for 50 girls, 100 girls is not enough. We want to this year say, okay, we're reaching out to 3,000 because we have outlets. We have in Akure, we have in Abuja, we have in Lagos, Ogun. So we want to reach out to as many as. So we're looking for partners who will come to us. These girls out there, they need it. You know, so many of them. So we're looking for such partnership.
You know what comes to mind, YK, is that this is part of what we were talking about earlier. Projects for the first ladies.
Yeah.
These are things the first lady can say, you know what, in my state,
Imagine
all the girls in my state, we are going to have access to
sanitary
this,
pads.
and all the bathrooms in our public schools are going to have a machine that dispenses where every day or every day there's somebody
only
replacing.
that, a proper hand wash.
There's got to be something. So
Proper
it can
water.
be somebody's pet project.
Exactly.
Because NGOs, many private people are doing their best in their small base. But the first ladies have the capacity to do
Yes,
much
to
more.
expand it.
Expand it.
To get
So these are some of the
private
things that
partnerships.
we need help with. There's a lot of work left undone that we need people.
The sanitary towel
Company.
They
Yes.
They won't hesitate.
They will not hesitate.
If you know that, okay, XYZ sanitary pad is partnering with Edo State government to provide sanitary towels across.
For all
And
the Edo girls.
I'm telling you. So these are kind of the things that we need.
In my own school, my secondary school, it's the women, we the women now, that contribute money and supply sanitary towels to
your
the girls.
because it's girls' school.
It's a girls' school. Yeah.
It's really
You know,
it's
so
crucial.
If we can do that, I mean, first ladies can.
Okay,
up
so,
too.
so
Do
the
wonders, but
focus
I'm
of... Sorry, ma.
Michael's going to go
I'm
ahead.
going to...
No, I was going to ask these. Oh gosh, sorry. Go on.
Okay,
We understand, right? We understand.
It's the age.
But today, sorry.
They go soon deck you. So the focus of this year, you know, was about raising their awareness. Do you do the sex education with them?
Yes.
Because one of these things we see in my secondary school experience, you know, of girls, the knowledge online now, sexually, is something else, and a lot of people are just exploring. A lot of these children are exploring. How are you using the opportunity of your, engaging them to inform them on, these decisions?
Okay, so like I said, it's in three parts. One, that distribution of the sanitary ware is just on one side.
Yeah.
The other one is sex education. In fact, we call it comprehensive sex education. Tell them everything they need to know. You know, sometimes we just sit and assume that we have enough information out there, but how many people have access to this information?
Quality information.
Quality information. Because in the undeserved community, in the workers of our NGO, you will be amazed. You think we are all there, we know all of this.
Sorry to cut you off. Let me cut you off a bit, because this sex education thing, I don't think we know what we're talking about. Because I registered my daughter for, in fact, unfortunately, I think I registered her for like 2 or 3 classes. And the girl is like, Mommy, I have schoolwork to do all this, and she's overwhelmed. So I sat into one of these classes where they were talking about sexual, and it was just so elementary. I mean, something you tell a 5-year-old, and she's 12 years old, and she's thinking, What is saying? I mean, the kids have gone, where their minds are is different.
So far.
when you talk about education, sometimes I don't know what kind of
what's the
education
quality of
are you giving these children? Because they have their mind, they already understand. But you are coming, you know what? Don't touch me. Tell a man this is my body. Then you know, and I'm thinking, uncle,
They're past that level.
That's on the surface. So, what's the quality? I think Nima said it, of this sexual education, because we need to face the reality that our children today are exposed to TikTok. YouTube, they know.
Instagram.
You are not trying to reveal anything to them.
They know
What
already.
you need to understand is how to condition that learning to be positive. I mean, so what kind of training are we really giving these children?
I saw one 15-year-old girl on Instagram. Eh?
Okay.
I just sparked myself. I kept quiet.
Wow.
I'm saying. So, I mean, it's a conversation.
So for us, we have made it very detailed. You know, sometimes because you want to distribute, you go and do 15 minutes talk. 15 minutes talk to these girls is not enough. And that's why it should be something that if you have all the time, just like you mentioned your daughter, oh, I have work to do, so I don't have all the time for this. And we don't go because we know that they have knowledge. 5-year-old girls know. All those don't touch me there, like you mentioned, they already know. So those ones are at the surface level. It is those very deep conversations that you tie to their future that will help them make informed decisions about their life choices. Those are the kind of deep conversations we have with them in the form of counseling and mentorship. That is what works. But if it is those don't touch me, no, everybody, even 3 years old, know that. Yes. Again, yes. To make it holistic, now you have to involve the boys. Because we've had cases where it is the boys, because of the way the boys will make them feel. So when they are in their period, they will not show up. Because you have some nasty boys who are looking out for, do you have a stain? I know you are in your period. They make those comments, period shaming those girls. Yes, period shaming. So they do all of that. They do all of that. That's why these girls stay out. But if you educate the boys alongside the girls, it helps. So everybody understand that this is where we are going. You can't do this to these girls. You know, once they have that understanding, it makes it easier for the girls. And that's our goal, majorly.
So this sanitary towels, is it just the public schools? Because the private schools, I think the parents have money to buy them. So is it just the public schools all over Nigeria?
Underserved communities. Those communities where you go to and you know that some, January to December, girls have not seen a pad. Those are the kind of people we're reaching. It's not those that can have. There are some that don't even know. And some, we have the other religious and cultural beliefs around it, but that's on one side. But for us, we have those girls that have not seen a pad because they can afford it. It's just like what we do in some of our maternal, motherhood program that we run. You will see women who carry pregnancy for 9 months and they come to the hospital, they have no single item with them for that period. So you see them in those communities and you're wondering, pregnancy is not 1 month, it is 9 months. How come that
you were not able
to prepare, not even, nothing. When I say nothing, like they come like that, it is nurses sometimes that we even use their wrappers and everything to help them. So that's how bad it is.
I saw someone that came deliberately like that.
Yeah, why?
Sometimes they don't even have
so that
what
they
to
can
come
pay
with.
for the procedure for her.
So let's start with the theme of this year. So what is the global
theme?
focus?
Girls' vision for the future.
What does that mean?
It means that you will continuously empower, educate these girls, mentor them. If I recall my secondary school, I remember people coming then to talk to us. And then I know how it made us feel and how we turned out because of the things, that we went through, because these people came. So the whole essence is go out there, reach out to this girl, empower their vision for the future so that they can see the big picture, they can understand that their dreams are valid and then they have a place in the future. It's talk to them about what they can become in the future. That's the whole goal for this year, girls' vision for the future. We want to empower them for the future ahead.
A little snack there.
Yes.
We have a lot of people doing empowerment for girls.
Okay.
And sometimes I feel like our boys are being ignored. Because when all these girls are empowered, who do they meet on the streets?
Exactly.
It's the boys. And we already have that issue now. You see, at certain levels, the boys seem not to be making any form of sense. Their brain, no day there. But the girls are already knowing too much. They're already ready to conquer the world. So is there any way that you could probably balance it out in such a way that the boys are not left? I know you're called for the girls, so, but the boys at the same time have this information. They are not left out.
Yes, we do, but it's not our focus.
Okay.
Okay, when do you focus on boys?
Exactly. Plenty of
We
them don't
will,
focus on
because
girls.
your
as I
mother
said, for
would
this
then-
education, yes.
Okay, so what, is there a time of the year for
Mother,
boys?
we have, okay, so we have project for 1st to 5 years for young people. Our focus is maternal girls, but we also realize over the years that we cannot talk to the girls alone. We should talk to the boys.
Boys as well.
So we don't just get to go to all-girls school. We try to look for mixed schools where these guys,
All of
these
them, their
boys
hormones are
understand.
raging.
Yes, what we are saying.
Their body is doing them, man.
Touch me,
Okay,
touch
you know,
me.
you should get into that project because they will listen. Those boys will listen to you.
Which boys?
Boys,
Why is it me they will listen?
They will
Why
listen
will
to
they
you
listen
because
to
you are the daughter of Fela.
Why will
You are
they listen
Fela's
to you?
child. They will just assume,
you are Akaba's own style. Why would they not listen to you?
They will listen to you. They will listen to you. Why can't we
No, I don't understand.
power. They will listen to you.
She's a kabash.
She's Akaba's own now. They will listen to her too.
You are Fela's child. There's no way you enter a secondary school for boys. They will listen to YK. Don't talk to them. They should calm down. Their hormones should calm down. With the girls. Yes.
Before they use their hormones on me.
They're always going back and forth. But one last thing, you know, one of the things I mentioned earlier that I suffered heavy flow and I didn't have.
I'm tired of Sophie.
One of the things I would really love to see in schools is proper toilets and proper water. There were days that you could have just washed up, you have seen pads, but the stain is there. You are looking for water
cannot
to
wash.
wash up. You know, as basic as that, how many of these schools, when you visit, do you see this? And how much more is it needed?
That's very key
school
because
today.
it's one of the reasons why those girls don't show up when they're in their period.
God bless you.
It's the
still
reason
having
why they don't
trauma
show
from
up.
my school
Where there's
toilet.
no privacy, there's no proper toilet.
telling you.
So they would rather stay at home, manage themselves at home, you know, period management, that come to school. If I've tried to remember my secondary school too, except for maybe privates are doing well, but public schools.
I still have dreams of
Governments
my
need to-
secondary school toilet. Yes.
As I'm saying it to you, I'm remembering that
Traumatizing.
sometimes we have to go and look for a place.
Will they use bush?
Okay, let me
Exactly.
wrap up on that because I think today's show.
I agree with you.
Today's
Proper
show
toilet, yes.
is a message specifically to the first ladies
ladies.
Yes.
of
Yes.
all
In every
governors of the
capacity.
states in this country.
Including first
This
daughter.
should be your project. The toilets of the girls' hostels, the toilet in public
girls'
schools,
schools in your
the
states.
capacity of the sanitary towel, the availability
Availability.
of the sanitary towels to
Affordability.
be an affordability. God bless you. That should be your pet project.
Yes.
We
GDA.
need more of them to come out and focus. And if you're already doing that, let us know.
Yes,
So we can help
visibility
you
is
with
important.
capacity
Yes,
and give you more publicity because we need these girls to have this kind of protection.
We can talk about it more on the show.
So they need
Yes.
NGOs like us.
NGOs
to
like
partner
us.
with.
Yeah. Partner
Because we
with.
are reaching out to those people. So
Very
partner with
crucial,
us
because
so we can reach them.
BC is still traumatized.
From my secondary school
Thank God,
toilet.
I did not have that kind of secondary school. I thank
No,
God.
you went-
But
I still see it in my dreams. I'm not
you're
joking.
traumatized. You're still seeing it after you're
Yes,
almost
after-
50.
There was a day I hid in the bush near the toilet in my school, only to find out I was sitting on soldier hands.
Whoa. Did they bite you?
Of
That
course.
bite that place?
Me, I thank God for Corona. Oh, hey, thank you, God. I went to
Can
What
really-
a- what a
so we're
life.
looking forward to first ladies
Yes.
come out.
Yes.
It's not whether it's available. We have companies that
go.
are ready to produce. It is affordability.
Yes.
Some of them they cannot afford it. And that's why we're trying to give it out to them.
That is
free.
all we can take on today's
Yeah.
show. Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you
And
so
I
much
think
for
hopefully
having
this
me.
show
Thank you,
is
ladies.
more a reflection to many of our first ladies out there who love to carry designer bags. So please consider supporting Girl Child as we look to October 11th as the Global International Day for Girl Child.
In fact, we will
That's
have to
all
welcome about 2 or
we
3
can-
first ladies on the show.
Yeah.
Tell us about pet projects.
Yeah.
That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.